How's it going, legends, and welcome back to the channel. If you have a cab chassis utility, you're going to have some sort of tray and canopy on the back or a tub and canopy setup, and the chances are your rear vision is going to be impaired by what's hanging off the back. Not only is that an issue for safety, but having vision of what's behind or what's in tow can really help you navigate the tighter spaces and also take a bit of the guesswork out of reversing. I already have a set of these towing mirrors. I quite like these. This is from MSA. And I've also got a reverse camera mounted on the back above the tow ball underneath the tray. And while we have these things installed, there still remains quite a large blind spot behind the 79, and that makes it hard to monitor the smaller trailers like my small 6x4 and also my small camper. So in this video, we are going into detail on how to install a rear vision DVR monitor into my 79 specifically. I'll show you the footage coming directly from the monitor and give you a general review of this product. Let's get into it. So first thing you're gonna need is some sort of mount. And this is probably going to be the most time consuming part of this DIY because there are a lot of options on the market. So ones I considered were the Gator branded one from Super Cheap Auto. Benefits of that one, it clamps right onto the factory mirror. You don't have to worry about mounting it. But I didn't really want to clamp on mount. I want something to be a direct replacement. And there are other ones you can get which are monitor only. It only reads off the camera and it won't have a record function, but we are going with something in between. So this is the Elinz 7-inch DVR, 7-inch display, and yeah, we're gonna use this to record full time what's happening behind the canopy. Yeah, at the moment, I've got the black view dash cam at the front of the 79, but I haven't widened the rear camera because it's not waterproof. So this comes with an AHD, it's a CCD sensor camera. Apparently they are better quality, I don't know, but that is ready to be mounted to the back of the canopy. It also comes with 10 meters of cable. It comes with 2 sets of 10 meters of cable because this monitor can read off 2 cameras, but this particular package I've bought is only with the 1 camera. That's all I need at the moment. I did think about hard mounting a second camera on the back of my camper trailer, which I think I probably need to do for when we go away to Fraser Island later this year. But yeah, for now, we're just gonna stick to the 1 camera and then we can add that on later. To install this, we're gonna need some sort of mount. And for the past few nights, I've been playing with a few different setups and I think I found a nice setup which is quite adjustable and puts the monitor up in a nice position. Kimberly Cape and also Trig Point canopies, they make a bracket, although I don't know it'll fit directly to this Elinz monitor. So we're gonna use a mix and match of the OEM factory mirror bracket, it's on the car at the moment, and also this Elinz suction cup mount. We're definitely not using the suction mount. These don't work very well, but we're just going to be pinching the cold shoe to this ball joint here, only using that part of the mount, and then also we're going to use this. So this is a dual ball joint adapter thing designed for holding camera gear and the accessories. I had this laying around, but I'll throw up a link as to where you can get that. Now the beauty of this is it can record, so we need some sort of storage device. This is a 128 gigabyte SD card, which will just slot in the side and give us about 35 hours of recording. And the beauty of this monitor is that it'll just keep rewriting data over it. So I don't have to worry about the storage card filling up or having to stop and start recording. It's just going to keep writing until I need to use that footage. To wire this in, it comes with a harness. Very simple, we'll get to this, and I've also got just some cabling if I need it. So let's hop over into the 79. I want to pull that mirror bracket off and then we'll come back on the bench and I'll show you how it's all going to mount up. Alright, so we're going to have to take off this bracket. So this cover just slides off upwards like that. Don't forget to keep these screws, they're very important. I don't think it's a normal thread, so don't lose those screws. So if you've just removed the whole mirror from the car, first you're going to have to take this bracket out of the mirror. So in the process I destroyed my mirror glass, but that's okay, I wasn't planning to keep this anyway. You have to get underneath the mirror and then remove this bracket, and then this is how it's held in. and just unscrew that black bracket there, and it'll just pop out. So that's all we're going to use from the mirror bracket, and we are actually going to be mounting this flipped up. So the factory orientation is down like this with the mirror down here. We're going to flip this up and still use the factory mounting holes. And from this point, we are going to use a clamp. So this clamp is designed for a smaller ball head, but it does work. So just unscrew this clamp, and then you can pull those heads out. I'm also going to remove those excess washers. They don't need to be there. And that's going to be our clamp onto this side. Unscrew this ball head out of the mount, and then that's how we're going to mount it up. So this part will go into our clamp, and from this side you just pop in that ball there. There we go. It's highly adjustable. You can seat it where you want it to. So in the car it's going to be sitting like this, pointing down to the monitor. So from this end, really easy. Slide it in there, and then you just screw that down like that. A lot of different positions, but once you crank that down, it's not going anywhere. So let's go fit this in the car. We're going to start with the factory mirror mount, and again we are flipping it up so the orientation faces upward toward the head trim, and you're going to mount it with those screws that you haven't lost, and then slide the cap over. Nice and factory. From this point, you are going to install the clamp and then the cold shoe ball mount. Tighten the clamp, and that's it. So we can go and move this around. It's highly adjustable. Let's pop the monitor on, slide the cold shoe into the monitor, and then you can also adjust it at different heights. We can have it up here, we can have it mounted all the way down here. But once you're happy with it, all you have to do is tighten it down, and she is not going anywhere. Just been here for the past couple of minutes, and I've got the monitor sitting in the perfect spot for me. And yeah, it even clears the visor, which is great. The only downside, I guess, is that now the factory mirror is no longer there. The dash cam does sit a bit low, and the visors won't cover this section here. So what I will probably do, I have been thinking about getting one of those sun visors, those retro looking ones. I did like the Wacko design, but they're discontinued. But I think I might put a piece of vinyl across the top here, same as what I've done in my other cars. Just added a piece of gloss black vinyl there. It's subtle and it does protect your eyes. I think I might do the same. Now the monitor's in there, let's get on with the wiring. In the past few videos, you guys have told me that wiring is not for you, it's intimidating, but this is really a good place to start. Get your head around 12 volt, and you really can't stuff this up. So this is going to be a very easy DIY for anyone. So we'll start with our power and grounds. Yellow, we have our battery positive to constant power with a built-in fuse. The red wire is for accessory power, so it is going to a 12 volt switched source. Now in my case, I am wanting my monitor to operate 24 hours a day non-stop to keep recording. You know, I have ample supply coming from our dual battery setup, so we're going to be wiring these two wires together direct to a constant 12 volt power source from my dual battery setup. And our black wire, this is the ground. This ground goes to the battery ground or the chassis ground, depending on which battery you are wiring this to. Now, if you are wiring this to your starter battery, you really need to make sure you wire this to a switched 12 volt source, not constant power, otherwise you're going to drain your battery. So these are our two trigger wires, which we won't be using, but this will go to, say, a switch, or it could go to your reverse indicator. The reason you might want to use this is because it will trigger your parking guides on the monitor, or I believe you can actually use this to trigger another camera. So yeah, apart from that, you've got two channels here, so two channels for two separate cameras. We've got our 10 meter harness, so they'll just go in like this, and from this end we'll plug into the other side of our 10 meter cable. So yeah, That is literally all the wiring you need to do. It's very simple. All right, I thought I'd give you guys a few pointers on how to do your switch 12 volt wiring. Now, probably the best few ways to do it is to get it straight from the fuse box. I believe it's on the driver's side kick panel. If I recall correctly, it's down behind this kick panel here. So if you remove this trim, you'll be able to see a little fuse box, and you can run a fuse tap into that, add additional fuse, and that will give you switch 12 volt. The accessory wire is only going to draw milliamps. You'll be fine tapping into the factory wiring. Otherwise, you can get it from the cigarette lighter socket. So just tapping into the back of that will do you fine. So yeah, let's get our harness in. We're here now because we're going to be wiring our positive wires to our dual battery setup, and I've already got existing cable running under these trims, so it's a huge time saver for me. The cables currently power my dash cam, and it'll have no problem carrying the extra load from the monitor. So we'll be able to find out how much it draws roughly once we hook this all up and check it out from the Rev Vision screen. So yeah, let's remove all this and we get down to the wiring. Alright, so we threaded the harness from the monitor down here, and look, this is the fuse box, so just disregard what I said about it being on the driver's side panel. Maybe there is one there too, but there is one here on the passenger side panel, so you'll be able to get your accessory power from here too. At the moment, we are going to wire in our constant power and ground. So I'm just going to pull this wire down. This is actually going to the dash cam. And what we're going to do is just cut this butt connector off. We're going to make a male and female spade terminal, and we can crimp those together. So yeah, I'm going to quickly go and do that, and then our monitor should be on. I'm going to twist my battery and accessory wires together. We're going to also connect that up to our battery wire on the dash cam, and then we'll crimp in our little spade terminal. That's it. So we've got our power and grounds hooked up, and our screen is on. And yeah, just to show that, you can cycle through a few of those menus. At the moment, it's not going to show anything. We don't have a camera hooked up, so that's the next step. We have to run our 10-meter lead all the way to the back of the canopy, and then we can bolt that camera down onto one of the brackets there. So I'm going to quickly go and do that, and then I'll show you once it's done. So there's the camera from the back, and I want to quickly show you guys how I've run the wiring. So come around to the side. All right, sorry about the shading, but the sun is going down. So from here, we've got channel 1. This is the cable going to the back. And I've run the cable underneath with a whole bunch of other cables down underneath there. There's a channel with the factory loom. Tucks behind the B-pillar trim, and then underneath here too, and it comes out here. I've got about 2.5 meters, 3 meters of extra cable, which I don't know what I'm going to do. I might actually just try to cut this up and put a connector in. And this is the junction box I was talking about. This comes from the power plant from the canopy. I've got a fuse box in there, and yeah, 30 amps max, which we'll never really use. The camera lead goes to that gland over here and runs through the back and coming up towards the top. I've just got the cable dangling at the moment. We've got a cable in there running down the Unistrut system on the canopy. So all up, this draws at the moment, it is drawing 1 amp. So 1 amp load, which is only coming from this junction box. The fridge is off at the moment. 1 amp is the Netgear modem, it's the dash cam, and also that monitor. So it's really not much on a setup like this. So 1 amp isn't too bad. And the camera, I've got it mounted here at the moment. I did put it underneath this ladder rack, but I really don't like how it's intruding. I've got the wheel here on the other side as well, so it's kind of in the way. So I've got it here at the moment. It's not too bad on the screen, but you can definitely tell it's not 100% centered. So yeah, that's what it looks like at the moment. I'm going to test this setup for the next week or so, and we'll come back and do a review. Hey guys, it's been about a week since installing this monitor setup, and at the moment we are on the way to Ingleburn. We are Honda way to Ingleburn to pick up another engine for my Civic. So I thought it'd be good to give a live commentary of this monitor setup. So it's been hard to get used to. So I have been driving this car every day for the past week. Done a mix of day and night driving, and it has been hard getting used to the perception of the image. So when you look at a rear view mirror, generally off the glass, you're getting a perfect reflection of what's directly behind the glass. With the camera where it's positioned, probably like 5 meters back on the back of the canopy, and given the wide angled lens, which is a lot wider than I guess the lens in our eyes, it gives you a bit of an illusion. So when I look at the reverse camera setup, which is located on top of the toe ball, and then I look at the monitor, it's a bit of an illusion because it's so wide at the monitor. I don't know if I explained that very well. But yeah, it's something you don't realize until you install something like this. So I'm still getting used to it, and it's been strangely difficult to get used to. I have tried 2 different camera positions. Oh, here we are, we're stuck in traffic on the M7, which you pay for. So I tried 2 different camera locations. So the first one was underneath the ladder rack. And because of how wide the camera lens is, it shows you the 2 rungs on the ladder. I really want an unobstructed view. And so I did move it to the passenger side of the canopy. So you can see, right now, you can see the bias of the image. I'm driving in the middle of this lane, and you can definitely see a lot more of the driver's side of that trailer. So it is something which I don't think I can get around. I could probably mount it directly onto one of the rungs on the ladder, but this position where it is actually in the safest position. I think it's something which is okay. You know, I'm not using this purely for reversing back onto a trailer. It's really for checking what's behind me, and it has so far done the job really well. Another consideration, and I guess a little bit of an issue for me, was the brightness of the monitor. So the monitor currently, well, you won't see it in the image, it was really bright at night. Even at 50%, I turn it all the way down to the dimmer setting, and at night it is quite bearable. So it's not blinding, but you definitely notice that it's there. So the good thing about this monitor is that it has an on-off button for the monitor. I just don't think you can continually record when the screen is off. You guys are going to see the live footage as we are driving, but I haven't seen the footage yet on my computer. But on the screen, it is really clear. You know, it doesn't seem at all pixelated. It doesn't look distorted. The image is very clear. Another consideration, especially the way I've installed it to the battery at the back, is the amp draw from this monitor setup. So I don't know how much in total it draws, but combined with my dash cam, my modem, and the monitor, it draws 1.1 to 1.2 amps, which for some dual battery setups might be too much. So it's something you need to consider. And the good thing is that you can turn off the monitor, like as in the screen, and it seems to save about 0.4 in an amp. So yeah, it's definitely not the most efficient device to be installing full time, especially to a SATA battery. I really wouldn't recommend it unless you've got it powered through an accessory wire. I'm gonna go pick this engine up, and then after this I will do a bit of a wrap up for this video. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. So it's been about 2 weeks since we installed this rear monitor setup, and I am so happy with it. It does an amazing job, and I've finally gotten used to it. I've also changed the camera location, so I've relocated it to the center underneath the ladder rack, directly in the middle. So I really wanted a central view. I was previously mounting it over here, and yeah, I'm very happy with where that is sitting. And I'm not just saying this, but it has changed my driving experience. I am more aware of what's happening behind me. And for the price of about $300, you know, eventually it's probably going to pay for itself. And yeah, I really like that it is recording full time. I have no doubt that in the future, shall I need to, I can pull up that footage from the camera. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. In 2 weeks' time, this vehicle is going over to AIB to have the new rear suspension fitted. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I will see you guys in the next video.